think we can move on to the hot topic tonight. Man, this got me upset. This definitely got me upset, Um look, recast the T'Challa stuff aside. I got nothing but love and respect for the brother Ryan Coogler. I've told y'all, in the past, like I got a chance to meet him. I got a chance to talk to him when he came out to Chicago for Creed. Cool brother, down to earth, like one of the most humble people, at least that I've encountered, like that, and and even to this day, I still wish him nothing but the best of success, right? But over, back in January, it was revealed that Ryan Coogler went to Bank of America. And while he was there, of course, this is during January, this is peak of the pandemic still. He's wearing a mask, he's wearing, his glasses or whatever. He goes up to the bank teller and he asks for about $12,000. And he also writes on the back of the note to count the money discreetly. The teller gets spooked about this and calls 911. Police come, they arrest him, they detain him, and so much more. So with this story, this is, as he said here, this is a situation that should have never happened. And I totally agree with him on that. This absolutely never should have happened because this is, I think, a complete failure in procedure. I think it's a failure in procedure. Um, here's we got some footage here. Okay, so I got some footage here. This is what he looked like. This is what he looked like. He comes in, and I'll go through the full story. I gave y'all like kind of like the gist of it. I'm gonna go through the full story. He comes in and he's writing on the bank slip. Obviously, as you can see, he's wearing his mask, his shades, and all that. I need y'all to realize though, not only is it a pandemic, so maybe, people are just being safe. He's also a celebrity and he's in, Atlanta. Okay. So it's not uncommon for someone of high profile status not to be seen. They don't want to be seen. They want to be discreet. That's not uncommon. My issue with this is the way people I've seen online reacting to the story is beyond troubling because some people are interpreting this story as if Ryan Coogler just came in with a mask, sunglasses, and just didn't say nothing, slipped a note and was like, yo, put the money in the bag and be discreet about it. That's not what happened. That's not what happened. Basically, and here's the note. Here's the note. Ryan Coogler goes into the Bank of America, and while he's in there, he's doing everything they asked him to do. One thing that they ask him to do when you go into most banks is they ask for your ID. They want your ID, right? He gives them his ID. Then they ask, hey, where's your debit card? And what else do they ask if you got a debit card? Put in your PIN. Okay, he did that too. I mean, I'm sitting here thinking like, Tyrese, what more do you want from me? You ask for ID, you ask for the debit card and the PIN, and on the back of the note, this is what he actually wrote. Now, you tell me if what he wrote here would sound like a bank robber. Here's what he wrote. Let me get that a little bigger. I would like to withdraw $12,000 cash from my account, from my checking account. Please do the money counter somewhere else. I'd like to be discreet. What exactly sounds like a robbery in any of that? What robber shows you their ID, logs into their account, and wants to steal money from their own account? What's happening here? Like, and even asking the money to be counted discreetly. Do that for me. Listen, I ain't no baller like Ryan Coogler. Okay. I don't care if I got $100. I don't need you counting that out loud. I don't need people knowing how much money I got and how much I'm walking in and out with. Like that should be common sense. Hello, sir. Here's your $5,000. $1, $2, $3. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Take that to the back somewhere. And even the money counter, because y'all know the money counter machine, it's just sit there like just counting all that money. And then they're just gonna hand it to you. You're making it too obvious. Relax. Take that to the back. So I got a couple videos here I wanted us to watch together. And this was actually the 911 call. This was the 911 call. So I gave y'all the whole thing of how this goes. So you see the letter. You see the letter. He gave the ID. He put in his debit card and his PIN. Okay. This is the teller calling 911. Let me get this up here.
No, and so I just told my.
Hold on. Let me get my. I want to listen too. Shoot. Hold on. And let's just listen in on how this call went during this transaction. And yes, the teller, by the way, even though I don't think it matters as much, the teller was black. And for whatever reason, people wanted to include that she was pregnant. I don't think that matters, but she was black too. But here's the 911 call.
Asked me a note, and so I just told my manager I didn't feel comfortable. So he told me to call police while he, I guess, stalled.
What is on the note, ma'am?
It just says I want to withdraw $12,000. Just be discreet.
Is this an actual customer, or are they trying to rob the bank?
They had a debit card, and he inserted it. He gave me a California ID, but I was like, okay. I was like, how do you want the cash back? And he's like, just look at the note.
And he had no weapons, correct?
Not that I know of. He just has on black sunshades and a black hat.
Is he a black male, white male?
He's a black male. And every time I ask him like a question, he's like, look at the note.
So, okay.
But he inserted his debit card, and then I asked for his ID. He handed me his ID as a California ID. But I didn't look at his name because I'm just like so shook up. Like, I don't know what he's trying to do. So I just told him, give me one moment. You know, I have to get my manager.
Okay, so none of his information was even verified. Okay. He might just want to be discreet, but I have police en route.
Yeah, I mean, he might. It just seemed weird. Pass me a note.
What? Why didn't you check his ID? You asked for his ID. Because it's from California, that's weird to you? Well, he got to live down the street from you? And it's weird that he wants money from his own account, from the debit card that he gave you and knows the PIN number from. Like, what are you... Baby girl, what has happened? Come on, Bank of America, what are y'all doing? Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Where's the manager? Because right now, I'm sitting here thinking the manager is to blame here. I don't expect the teller to know, because the teller, you know, that could be an entry-level job. Maybe this is her first day. I don't know. But the manager, she was spooked. Okay, it happens. You can't judge like people's emotions, feelings, and stuff like that. She was spooked for whatever reason. She called her manager, and her manager just was like, yeah, just call the police. Just call 911 if you feel uncomfortable. Well, you the manager. You couldn't go in and be like, let me, how much did they want? $12,000. Let me step in and take care of this. Now, I've talked to friends of mine who have worked in banks and stuff, And they would say simple things like, tellers don't always have to deal with like large sums of money. Like they have a certain limit. And once you get to like that high roller limit or beyond something else, that's when it goes to maybe a teller supervisor or maybe an assistant manager or the actual manager. So to me right now, Bank of America failed this. Bank of America dropped the ball. They failed this right here. Now I'm going to play this here. And this is the footage of him getting arrested. And to me, this right here is the problem. First of all, as you can see, police officer right behind him, pulling out your gun. Come on now, for what? Y'all didn't even assess the situation. I get it. Now, here's the thing. I'm not totally blaming I'm not blaming police 100% on this. I don't really like the idea of them pulling out their gun or whatever like that. That part I don't really like. Because that is he's not resisting. He's complying. There's no visible signs of weapons or anything. He didn't even make a threat. I don't personally expect police to automatically know and assess the situations 100%, because if you listen to the 911 call, the teller didn't even read off the note correctly. She just said he wants some money, and he said be discreet.
You have ID on you?
She made it sound more suspect.
But the thing I'm trying to explain to you right now, sir,
she made it sound more suspect than anything else. So to me, I'm sitting here thinking like, I can't blame the cops that much. I don't like the fact that they were quick to pull a gun, but at the same time, they can only go off of what you tell them. If you tell them some dude is possibly robbing a bank, okay, I get that. I don't like it, but I get it. But the thing is, the police are supposed to be the last line. Where is the manager? Why didn't the manager come through? This is, to me, a complete failure on Bank of America's part. Because now, and in this in this scene or whatever, I'm not gonna play the full 5 minutes. If y'all want me to upload it, I can upload it. But they're checking his ID, so they actually, and Ryan Coogler at this point is kind of like, y'all need to kind of chill, because if you find out who I am, like Google me, Google my name. That is actually his Marvel badge. So on top of his California ID, he's also got his work badge. He's got 2 visible forms of ID. My thing is this: if you were uncomfortable as a teller or whoever, why didn't you just ask him, like, sir, can you take down your glasses, put down your mask, just so that I can see and verify your identity? Easy. But unfortunately, you let this man go get detained. And in this clip right here, he actually sits here and says, can y'all like open the door or whatever, because he's about to have a panic attack. Do y'all know how traumatizing it is? I mean, I don't personally know. Thank God I've never been detained or arrested or anything like that. But I've experienced, I think, anxiety through so many of these situations that look of other people that look like me. When I see like Castile, Philandro Castile getting shot up for being a legal gun owner, you know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that is triggering, no pun intended. When I see stuff like this, Black brothers literally doing basic things and having to go through this trauma, it's triggering. It's problematic. It's traumatizing. That's something that he's not going to forget anytime soon. Some people, I'm not saying Ryan Coogler, but some people even get PTSD off of stuff like this. You don't want that. And if I think it was like his child's nurse or whatever, nanny or whoever, they were with him. They also got detained during this situation too. So to me, I know earlier Bank of America, they issued like some apology or whatever. They was like, this should have never happened. We regret that it happened, blah, blah, blah. Man, y'all need to do so. Y'all need to do way more than that. I don't know. Like, y'all gonna have to donate to the Black Panther fund or something. Y'all gonna have to do something, because that, to me, first of all, that manager needs to get fired. I'm sorry. That to me, that manager should not be working anymore. The teller, I didn't like it. I don't like it, but at the same time, the fact that she checked with the manager, if she had done this decision on her own, that's one thing. But the fact that she checked with a manager and the manager was like, yeah, call the police. We check ID. We don't do that around here. You got to go. What are you managing? Why are you there? Because the problem that happens now is, where do you draw the line? Is everybody going to be suspect now? What is it? The dollar amount? Do you know how many times people fill out little notes and stuff on withdrawal slips? Like, so what if they ask for singles? Is that suspicious? If they want it all in 20s, are you going to call the police then? Like, what do you? Woo. Yo, lawsuit. Listen, if I'm Ryan Coogler, that's a lawsuit. That's a lawsuit. But one way or another, I put this all on Bank of America. I am so sorry that he had to go through this. The messed up thing is, I would not be surprised if this is something that happens every day. If this happens all the time to different people, and the reason why, it's kind of sad that like it takes a celebrity to bring attention to something, but I'm also not mad at that, because this might be something we don't pay attention to until a celebrity talks about it or it happens to them, and then change needs to happen. So hopefully Bank of America learns from all this negative press and they sit there and just be like, you know what? We're going to change our policy. Like any, withdrawals over $1,000, maybe we'll put a checkbox, count discreetly in the back. Maybe if it's over 5,000, sir, come into my office and we'll take care of you there and respect your privacy there. Like, this is common sense. This is common sense. Whew, I don't know. All right, y'all, this is my take on it. What do y'all think about this whole Ryan Coogler situation? How are you feeling about the fact that he was not only arrested, but like, I mean, even his, his nanny or whatever was also detained too. Like, and who knows, maybe that person's like also messed up from, like, imagine sitting in the car, your boss going in to go get some money, and then all of a sudden police got you out there and they like, nope, put your hands up behind your back. Like, come on. Yikes. All right, Mr. Bobby Wright, thank you so much. Ryan should make this into a film. I just joined. Here's $5 where the money resides. Thank you, Bobby. I appreciate you, sir. There's a lot of irony in the fact that this is a guy that made Fruitvale Station, a movie that was about Oscar Grant, where a police officer was a little too quick to draw his weapon, and Ryan is from Oakland, I believe, Oakland, California. So, he's had experiences, in the Bay Area. He's had experiences with the LAPD and stuff like that, where, I could only imagine this stuff again is triggering. Dealing with the police is not a situation he would look forward to. I don't know how he's gonna move forward with this. This all happened in January anyway, so maybe he's over it. I'm hoping that he got some counseling, therapy, or whatever, because that's not something you want to internalize like that. You want to, kind of get that stuff worked out. But I wouldn't be surprised, if he made that into a film. Definitely could do it. Storm Shadow, brother, thank you so much. Top contributor and vet. Let's go. This just shows why positive black male images are needed on screen. Man. Woo! Even amongst our own people, we are dangerous and automatically guilty on sight. Recast T'Challa, hashtag save T'Challa. Facts. I keep telling people, yo, even when we talk about recast T'Challa, it's not just important for the nerd in all of us to get those stories told. It's important for the rest of the world to see a strong black man in a positive light. Because if all they see is black men being violent, Blade, or being like sidekicks or whatever, like, that imagery carries weight. Unfortunately, especially on a global level, you have other countries learning about America, or especially black people, through what they see in the media. So if all they see are rappers, doing XYZ and, gangster films and this and that, that's all their view and perception will be about black people as a whole in this country. So it is vitally important to continue having positive imagery out there. Recast T'Challa saves T'Challa. But thank you for that, Storm Shadow. You're so spot on with that. What else? Who else? Pretty Cyber, thank you so much. I was a Bank of America teller in LA years ago. We would send a celeb to private banking. The manager is to blame. See, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. But here's the thing. They didn't even get to the point to verify he was a celebrity, because when he showed his ID, they didn't even check it. And here's the other thing. During the video, when he was talking to the police, he told them that while he was giving them his ID and everything, they were telling him, the bank, the manager, everybody else, it's like, imagine he was like handing them ID, giving them the pin, all of that. And they were like, oh yeah, everything's cool. Oh yeah, this is great. Hey, sir, have you been helped? So you sending this brother off even more, thinking that he's doing the right thing. Meanwhile, you got him set up with 5-0 right behind him. Like, that's a problem. So yeah, that to me was just a whole mess in the making. But thank you so much for that. I appreciate that contribution. Treble Clef, thank you so much for that generous donation. Thank you. And how many non-famous black people did this happen to before this incident went viral? Yeah. Yes. I mean, that's kind of the thing, right? It's the weird situation of like, this probably happens way more commonly than we think. Again, the sad thing is there are so many instances that go on in the world that no one ends up putting attention to, unless there's a cell phone footage on it, or unless it goes viral or whatever. I mean, let's think about it. Would George Floyd have ever been a thing had it not been for the viral video? Like, a lot of these things are because of that. But I'm pretty sure there's a George Floyd happening right now and ain't nobody talking about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, those situations happen, and stuff like this is probably no different. But yeah, Trouble Clef, thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it. My man Angel, what's going on, sir? Both are wrong. You worked for Bank of America before in a situation like that. He should have called and made an appointment to see the manager. He would have gotten the red carpet, and she could have checked more. Maybe. I mean, like, I have heard people say that, he should have called and contacted. The thing is, though, for him, later in that video, I couldn't play the full, I didn't want to play the full 5 minutes of it, but in his interaction talking to the police, he was saying he's done this before. This is not something, this wasn't like his first time making a large withdrawal and writing a note. So for him, especially like when he's in California, again, they're probably more used to dealing with celebrities, but this has not been an issue for him. I don't know if he's done this stuff in Atlanta, where they're currently filming, but he had no reason to believe that he had to call the manager ahead of time and all that, because to him, he's like, I'm just getting money from the bank. Like, and I'm assuming now, God bless him with all his money, maybe 12 G's ain't that big of a deal to him, So, but for me, I put less blame on him, because especially if there were red flags, if there were problems, the onus is not on the client. It is on the bank to create a situation that they can use to better create like a safe environment. So again, if the bank thinks that this is a situation, if they feel uncomfortable, ask for the ID. Okay, you still don't feel comfortable. Ask for the PIN, the debit. Okay, you still don't feel comfortable. Ask for a second form of ID. Ask for the man to take off his freaking mask. There are so many other things that could have happened before we start getting into the shoulda, woulda, couldas, because these are the things that the bank should have done in the first place to verify it. Everything would have been done. So, I put more on the bank than anybody else. that's my take on it. Let's see. Kano, what you got? Thank you so much. This shows all these people that try and act like it's isolated incidents. Any black man, famous or not, is in danger just existing. Yeah, I mean, having money doesn't, erase racism. It doesn't erase prejudice. It doesn't erase bias. It doesn't erase anything. I mean, you still got LeBron James, one of the most famous people in the world, one of the richest people out there, still getting called the N-word, like on his property. Like there is no real exceptionalism that exists like that for black folks when it comes to that kind of stuff. So it's an image problem, it's a societal problem, but I don't know, we just gonna have to work it out. Buzz, what's going on? Thank you. Bank of America held up a sizable deposited check of mine for 15 days instead of the usual 5 to 7 days. A black man in a black community, I thought was bullshiggity. Well, that is definitely messed up. Sorry that happened to you, brother. But yeah, that's very, very strange. Like I said, I think they need to just change their protocols. They're gonna have to do something where protocols and procedures are going to have to be changed to avoid stuff like this. So I hope it's a lesson learned, and I hope they do better next time. I hope. Danielle, thank you so much. Maybe the teller and manager want him to recast T'Challa. I'm not right. Danielle, go to the corner. Go to the corner. Thank you for that, though. I appreciate you. Oh my goodness. That you playing. You playing. Thank you, Danielle. That's funny. Not Buck. Thank you so much. My goodness. Thank you so much for that support. It has since come out that Ryan has a slight speech impediment. This is so triggering for disabled people. What happens if he has nonverbal or on the spectrum? We don't talk about ableism in relation to black folks enough. He does have a he does stutter. I mean, I've talked to him to the point where like it didn't seem too crazy, or too much of an impediment. I mean, this guy has done interviews and stuff too, but that doesn't take away from your point at all. He could be, maybe it's part of like an insecurity of like, yo, just read this, because like what if he was like, a deaf person? What if he was deaf, or what if he was mute and he could not speak? So if a deaf or mute person goes in and writes a note and says, I want some money out, like, you calling the police on them too? Like, that's a problem. So yeah, excellent point. Great observation on that. But yeah, that's it's messed up no matter how you slice it. But thank you so much for that contribution. Appreciate you. Raynell, thank you so much. Teller didn't do her job. She said herself she didn't verify his account looking at his ID. She just thought he looked weird and went to her manager. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to fault her for asking the manager because, like I said, I don't know. Maybe this is her first day on the job. I don't know if she just wasn't trained properly, right? Again, if she had made these decisions on her own, I would put more fault on her. But the fact that you got someone there that's supposed to be in a position of power, a position of authority, that should know more, that's on the manager. Because the manager could have been like, hey, chill out. We don't call the police on everybody. Let me take care of it. And if I think the situation calls for it, I'll hit the silent alarm. Like, I know y'all got to have better procedures than that. So yeah, that I'll kind of go with that a little bit more. Thank you so much for watching. This was just a segment of one of my live chats, and if you're interested in joining in on the next one, be sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications for more. I've got more videos and reviews to do for you all, and until next time, I'll see you all later.